YouTube, what the heck is poppin', baby? It's your boy Chef Zay. You already know what the time it is. Football season is back. But before we get into the recap of the Browns versus Jets Hall of Fame game yesterday, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that subscribe button and go ahead and smash the like button. And also drop in the comments what was your favorite play or your favorite moment from yesterday in the game. And drop that in the comments because I want to know. But football is back, baby, and it couldn't be a better time of the year, especially coming off of a dub. Even though it was preseason, it's always good to get a dub, especially when you see your team going on the field for the first time. Now, it did start out a little bit shaky. I ain't gonna lie, it started out a little bit shaky. That first half was actually kind of tough to watch, but when it's all said and done, they settled down. Kevin Stefanski found a way to get some beautiful drives, which at the end of the second half started out just it was just gut wrenching. It was like, what the heck are we doing? 6 minutes to go. You got all your timeouts. Your defense was playing well. You had an opportunity to potentially get the ball two more times the way that the defense was playing up until that point. And they just drugged their feet. But it turned into like a 17-yard drive, 95 yards. And he ended up getting seven instead of three, which is always nice because in past years it seems as if the Browns were not on the end where they were coming out with seven. So it was good to see the offense string together back-to-back consecutive drives and find a way to put the ball in the end zone. And it was also good to see our defense look better. I mean, granted, we're talking about second through fourth stringers, but at the end of the day, man, there were plenty of opportunities for the Jets to convert on third and short, where we got torched at a lot last year. There were plenty of opportunities to expose the defense because there were times where we looked at it and was like, okay, they're just going to run the ball down our throat. But the defense held strong and they showed improvements throughout each quarter, and you love to see that. Um, Tony Fields was obviously leading the helm, I feel like, at the defensive end last night. He was everywhere. He was flying around everywhere. And I kept reiterating in the chat yesterday that that's what you love to see. When all of your ones and twos are not suiting up and not strapping up, and you still got guys who have been on this team and who have been on this system, when they're the ones that you are noticing, if you're Jim Schwartz, you gotta love that. That's a big step for Tony Fields. It's a big step for Dimitri Felton, who looked, I won't say great yesterday, but he looked good yesterday. With the opportunities that he got with the ball, he looked quick. He looked decisive in his decision making when he was hitting the hole. He wasn't dancing around too much. He found the end zone. He returned some punts. He took steps forward into securing a spot at least for another year. He never really got the chance to flourish with Kareem Hunt being the clear cut number two, but now that Jerome Ford is here with the number two spot, a lot of people feel like that Dimitri Felton could potentially take that spot, and I'm just here to tell you that that's probably not the case. There's a reason why he didn't suit up. Ford has that spot on lock. And I think it's just I think this is more so of a test for Demetric Felton to ultimately get some tape out there for when that bridge comes to where he has to decide if he's going to continue to play the backup role or take a bet on himself and try to fight for more playing time somewhere else. Because ultimately, I think that um, the Browns are going to continue to play this. I talked about it yesterday. This aggressive, short but long game. I was talking about how Andrew Berry. I actually, it's so good. It's so different, and it's a breath of fresh air to be able to see a vision with a team, because for the longest time you always sat there and you were trying to figure out what exactly the Browns were doing and what direction that they were trying to go with this team. And for these past few years, you can see the game that they're playing. You can see the team that they're trying to build. And they're building a team to strike. Now, he's been aggressive every offseason. He's made some moves to show you that his chips are all in the middle while also playing that long game. And I think that with this team, you can see the piece, you can see the direction that he wants to go. And I just think that the running backs are obviously a dime a dozen. And I feel like it would be I won't say it'd be easy to find another guy, but I think Jerome Ford is the future. And then it's just a matter of finding what they want to add to the style of play that Jerome Ford has to offer. I'm praying Nick Chubb is with us for the rest of his career. But if things don't go the way that they should, I could very easily see Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb, unfortunately, maybe playing out his contract at best. Hopefully, we don't get rid of him a year before or he asks for a trade. I don't think he's that type of guy, but I just think that it's gonna come a time where Nick Chubb wants to win. Ultimately, I think that's the end all be all for him. I don't think money is going to win Nick Chubb over in any way, shape, or form. I think he's gonna eventually take a stab at an opportunity to go out there and win. Would it be nice to have another Joe Thomas story with Nick Chubb? Yes, but that's neither here nor there. Back to the game though. Yesterday, the defense was the best thing that we saw out of all of yesterday. They gave this team the opportunity to go out there and put up 21 points. They turned Anthony Schwartz turned the ball over yet again, and the defense held at their 35-yard line to three. That's stuff that you love to see. Because if your threes and fours can do it, that means your ones and twos should be able to do it. And you can clearly see there's a Jim Schwartz effect. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of what he's going to do with the defense, but there's certain things that you saw yesterday that you didn't really see with the team last year. Now, there were a lot of similarities between the team that we saw last year, lack of discipline, at times just that what the hell, like what is going on, and that goes into the Kevin Stefanski and the DNA that he just has on his team, and I talked about that last night in a stream where it's just like this team is missing that dog, that something that, like, it's missing a tangible that's not coachable. You either have it or you don't, and I just think this team is missing it, and I think that's a result of your head coach. Now, I will tip my hat off to Kevin Stefanski. I think that Kevin Stefanski, while it's like it's almost like that toxic girlfriend relationship where it's just like, and it's not, there's no reason why the relationship should be toxic because Kevin Stefanski is not. He's a great guy. He's a great partner. You know what I mean? Like, you can clearly see he's not terrible. He can do the job that's needed to be done. But it's just like he makes it way more difficult than it has to be. And it's just like that's what I go back to saying, like, that's the DNA that he brings to this team. It's like this team doesn't always get it done the pretty way or the easy way. Like, we always tend to just do things way more harder than it needs to be. And I just think that comes from Stefanski. Now, it's not a terrible thing because I think that cool, calm collectiveness comes in could be a great attribute to have in a team. But I also think that your head coach needs to have that Mike Tomlin effect, that John Harbaugh effect, the Andy Reid effect, the Mike Vrabel effect, the McVay effect, the McDaniel effect, the effect where it's just like that they strike that whether it's fear or just that he's that brilliant mind, they strike something into the opposing team. And I just don't think that coaches are gonna look at Kevin Stefanski and be like, man, this guy's gonna cut her throat open and watch it bleed out on national TV. Like, he's just not that guy. And I feel like if he could find a way to just get a little bit more animated, like when I watch these post game locker room speeches out of him, I don't feel the energy in the locker room where it's like, man, these guys are like, man, I would die for this coach. I would run through a wall for this coach. I don't get that sense. And I feel like that's what could be the difference in making it out of the first round and second round and winning a Super Bowl. Like, that is that you need that factor. Um, but I'm getting kind of too far off topic with that. I just wanted to give you that the insight of how I feel about Stefanski. Like, he's just a good guy. He don't got that bad dude, that bad guy intention that you kind of need in your head coach, right? But back to the game, DTR. We talked about the defense a little bit. I think, like I said, the defense was obviously the best thing. Tony Fields was phenomenal. He got my MVP. I gave the defense the MVP as a whole. But with Tony Fields was making plays left and right. But DTR is obviously the hot topic that everyone wants to talk about, rightfully so. Um, the guy sparked up this whole team in the second half. It was like a light switch from watching Kellen Mond to DTR, and just the flow of the game, the energy in the game. It was almost like watching Joshua Dobbs come in after Jacoby Brissett strapped up last year, and I had to, before he even got on the field, I just had to tell I had to tell Chad, like, look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not do what we always do, because Browns fans are crazy to where they'll be like, yeah, he should be our number two, aka he's our future, aka man, it would be nice to see him get some playing time when it matters. Like, no, we don't need to be doing that, because that means that things are going really, really bad on this team. Now, this is the play that everyone has been dying about. Demetri fell, boom, the block, replay the block. Oh my God. Wait, look at the block. Boom! Laying it all on the line. I mean, that block was freaking crazy. And hats off to Demetri Felton again, man. Like I said, I don't think he grabs the number 2 spot, but he played really well yesterday, and it's going to be exciting to see these battles. Like, that's one thing that we can look forward going into next week for the preseason game against the Washington Commanders, and that's that there's going to be legitimate battles. You're going to see Jerome Ford run the ball hard, because he's not the RB1, he is the RB number 2, and don't get comfortable, because you can clearly see improvement with Demetri Felton with the more opportunities that he gets week in and week out. Josh Dobbs, don't think that the or the QB2 spot is solidified. I did talk about it yesterday. I think it's Joshua Dobbs' job to lose at the end of the day. I don't think DTR can do anything to take that spot from him. So it's more so about these guys not getting content. So you should see Joshua Dobbs perform at a decent level, just because he knows that there is a young guy who was coming off a really good game. And if these guys string together a few good games, like you seen last year with Harvey Jr., he got a lot of targets yesterday. But Harvey, Baldwin, these guys stick around for a reason. They make plays in practice, and that resonates, because it's like, if you can count on them in practice, more than likely you can count on them in the game. So I think that going forward, it's going to be fun to watch all of these guys compete at a level, because we talked about it yesterday. Anthony Schwartz fumbling that ball. He probably, more than likely, is not going to make the team. We ran down the wide receiver depth chart yesterday, and there's just no roster spot for him when you are consistently turning the ball over. And someone yesterday in the chat talked about how you just got to give Schwartz time. And it's like, as much as I understand that, you have one elite attribute. You have something that you just can't coach and that everyone doesn't have, and that's speed. So that gives you the opportunity to go out there and have opportunities to get the ball. You know what I mean? And every time you get the ball, it's like I don't even. It's like holding your breath when that star player goes down to be. It's like, what's about to happen now? Oh my God, is he gonna catch it? Is he gonna fumble it? Like you're just holding your breath with him. And when we already know you're not the best receiver in terms of catching the ball, when we're giving you jet sweeps and you're continuously fumbling the ball, you cannot do that. Like, there's been plenty of times where Anthony Schwartz has fumbled the ball or turned the ball over, and when your only attribute is speed, that can only take you so far when you've got guys like Amari Cooper, DPJ, Elijah Moore, Marquise Goodwin, Cedric Tillman, who, by the way, look at him, is a absolute specimen on the field. That was the first thing that I noticed when the offense was out on the field in the first quarter, first drive. I'm like, holy crap, this guy looks huge. And then I'm like, oh wait, 89, that's Tillman. So it's like there's a clear vision. Where am I going with that? Clear vision? I don't even know where I'm going with that. But because we were talking about Shorts. So Shorts definitely has a lot of ground to make up, and I just don't think that he makes that ground up. And along with Kellen Mond, I think that it's clear now why he was on the market. It's clear now why he never really got a shot. He looked like a deer in the headlights out there yesterday. The pick was embarrassing. The pick was I don't know how you didn't see the big linebacker dropping into coverage, but when you let DTR come in and ball out like that, the only thing you can hope for next week is that you come out and have a hell of a game. Because if I'm Kellen Mond, I'm worried about my future, even being a journeyman in the back in the NFL, because that interception was bad. The offense was slow. I was blaming a lot on Stefanski, and maybe that was just mine, because as soon as DTR got in the game, that offense definitely woke up and they were executing at a high level. So we pretty much ran through all of the game yesterday. The only thing that I didn't talk about, which I was saving for the last thing, because I didn't want to get too mad and be frustrated and go on a big old tangent on this guy and Cade York, bruh. What the hell are you doing? It is preseason. Perfect condition. Why are we missing kicks? Greg the Leg comes in and boots a 54, 56, 49. He just left and right. But we drafted you in the 4th round and we had high expectations for you. You came in week 1 and won arguably one of the biggest games that this Browns team have played in recent years, for the simple fact that if we would have lost to Baker Mayfield, we'd still be hearing about it today. So I'm giving you a lot of benefit of the doubt. But now every time you step up and you get your set, I'm more nervous than I've ever been, because we are going to need you, my guy. We are going to need you. Every time you put that foot to that ball, it needs to go through the uprights. Because I just can't stress enough how bad we need you, bro. We need you to be good. Not decent, we need you to be good. I'm not asking you to be great yet. I'm just asking you to be good. Because we going to need them 3 points. And we going to need you to come in through the clutch. And right now, I can't trust you. Along with this punt routine, or was it the kickoff returns or the punt returns, or was it both? The special teams need some work. Hopefully we won't be needing to punt the ball a lot this year. But we can't be having these explosive punt returns and kick returns. There was a minute left. What was it? Less than a minute left. And we punt the ball to them, thinking that the game is about to be a quick 3-and-out and the game is done. No, they returned the ball for like 40 yards. Defense, I now that I think about it, that play where they do return the ball and then they deliver a dart right after, that's where you got to stay in the game. That mental. But they did lock it up and they did get the stop, so, I ain't going to get too hard on the defense there, because the defense was the best thing we saw, like I said. But the special teams needs help, man. And they got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out fast, because the special team is going to play a huge factor when it comes to the regular season and getting deep into the playoffs, especially when it starts to get cold. I just can't have Cade York missing kicks, man. So let me know what you guys let me know your guys' thoughts on the game yesterday. What was your most exciting moment? What did you think about Kevin Stefanski? What did you think about Jim Schwartz in this defense? Obviously, I know what you guys think about DTR, and I don't want you guys to get too far ahead of yourselves. But it was fun to see that. I said it in the broadcast yesterday. Enjoy it. Enjoy the DTR moments, because when folks strap up, we ain't gonna be thinking about DTR. We ain't gonna be thinking about Josh Dobbs. We ain't gonna be thinking about that QB2 position. When folks strap up, it's up. You know what I mean? So let me know what you guys are expecting to see going into next week, And I'll catch you guys on the next one, baby. Let's get a Here We Go Brownie chant before we get out of here, baby. 1, 2, 3. Here we go, brownies. Here